lovelies, welcome back. I am excited to share my new pattern with you. It is a nursing pillow cover that is designed to fit the new updated Boppy pillow. I'm not sure if you're aware, but they had a bit of a makeover this year, 2025, from this original shape to the updated shape. Ta-da! If you want to learn how to make this, just follow right along. I've got timestamps along the screen, the bottom edge. If you have questions, comments, let me know. Happy to help out. I'd say the hardest part of that project is probably inserting the zipper and figuring out what direction it goes. But other than that, it's a really simple, beginner-friendly pattern. Without further ado, let's get going.
Once you have everything cut out and your supplies are all acquired, it's just the fabric, thread, and zipper, you want to mark your notches by snipping into them about a quarter of an inch. It's a very shallow notch, and mark your dart point. This is the method I like to use, where you just poke a needle through and mark it with your disappearing pen. Along that top edge, you can zigzag stitch, or as you see me doing here, using a serger. And to the other side of your bottom of your pillow cover, you do the same thing to that top edge. Now there's like an inner band that you need to construct. It's about 3 separate pieces, and I'm zigzagging or serging just that little portion. And that's going to be handy in the future when we put in the zipper. So that's why I didn't zigzag stitch all the way through. You can if you don't feel like stopping, but I just did it from that notch point forward. You connect those short inner band pieces to that top of your pillow on both sides. And I am using a 1/2 inch seam allowance on the majority of these seams. If there is a different seam allowance, it will be indicated in the pattern, but I think they're all 1/2 inch. I also love to press as I go after every single stitch, every single seam. It just really helps kind of press all of those threads into the fabric. And then I take that longer piece of the inner band. There's those 3 pieces. So this is the last piece of that inner band. And I'm connecting it to those 2 shorter inner band pieces. They're all right sides together. And just 1/2 inch seam allowance, serging, and just connecting it all, again, pressing everything as we go. And then once you have that whole inner band completed, you kind of have that loop connected to the pillow. And now is the part where you start to pin it down, pin it into place. I like to take the pillow, fold it in half, and find that halfway point on both the inner band and the U shape of the pillow, and kind of pin from that point up to the dart, and going slow along those curved edges. I hate to admit this, but sewing a straight piece to a curved edge is not the easiest thing to do. And just take it slow. I promise you will get through it. So as I'm pinning this, you can kind of see I am moving it around a little bit here and there to really get that give and take to be an equal amount on both sides, with the curved edge and the straight edge. If you just start at one end without starting in the center like I did, you may end up having it kind of too long on one side and you have to start over. So that's why I like to start from the middle and work my way out as I go. And then once we have that done, we start at one dart side, one dart to the other, if that makes sense. 1/2 inch seam allowance. When I get to those sharp turns, there is a lot of lifting the presser foot and dropping the presser foot. Lift and drop, lift and drop. And I love to use the point side of a pin to kind of help guide fabric through if it's giving me trouble. And then when you get to the other side of your pillow, where it's the dart, you just sew straight to the dart point. And I backstitch along my dart. You can choose a different method. the back stitch works fine for me on this particular project. And then we go through and serge along that same seam line. Serging is great. It gives the project longevity, and it will likely go through the washing machine many times. So if you're thinking about a seam finish, I mean, just if you're looking for a reason to buy a serger, now's the time. They're great. And now we are connecting the bottom side of the pillow to the top and inner band that we just completed. You're doing this by matching those notches at the top of the pillow and pinning down. I also like to do the same thing I did to the top and the band, where I started in the center, work my way out. If that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. And that again helps give you an equal amount of ease as you are pinning. And we're gonna leave the top portion of the pillow open between those two notches, and that is also the serged edge that you did earlier. So don't sew that side. You are sewing right there instead. And here we are using our 1/2 inch seam allowance. It is best to go slow again at those curved edges, a lot of lifting and lowering of the presser foot. I cannot emphasize that enough. And as much as those sharp curves, as difficult as those can be, they do make you a better sewist in the long run. So these are skills that you are building on. If you feel discouraged, just know it will come easier the more you practice. And then again, we are serging those seams just like every other seam. And now it's time to install the zipper. Okay. We are finding the center point of that opening. I love to start there and kind of work with my zipper so that way because sometimes zippers are funny lengths. So I prefer to start in the middle and work with that and have equal distribution on either side. Now I am pinning right up to the seam allowance with the zipper tape. I think I zoom in here in just a minute, and I will stitch really closely along the zipper teeth, if that makes sense. So essentially, I should also point out this is right sides together. And I'm going to stitch right along that line as close to the teeth as possible. So use your zipper foot and yeah, just take it slow. I tend to focus on the zipper foot placement on the fabric more than where the needle is going. I'll show you a better sewing visual in a minute. I'm going to zip up the zipper. That's gonna help align it so it doesn't twist on you. And if you see that flower pin in the center, I pinned that while it was zipped up, and then I unzipped it so that I could have easy access to the zipper tape and pin it better. So this is the angle I was talking about. If you're looking at just where the needle is going, your tape might kind of move around on you. So I'm focused on keeping the tape aligned with the seam allowance as I go. And here we are, we're at the end. All right, don't forget, like, follow, subscribe, and I appreciate you for making it to the end. I have those patterns available on my Etsy shop. I have a bonus for all of you that have made it this far in the video. I have a free baby bib and baby bandana pattern that is available. I'll put that in the description as well. For those of you who love freebies, I got you. And yeah, take care.